A massive protest erupted in Mawlai in Meghalaya capital Shillong, seeking justice for former HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew. Locals of the area came out in large numbers under the banner of Nong Mawlai, or the Voice of Mawlai People, to register their protest. But the protest was held after the one-week deadline given by the Voice of Mawlai People to the state government for suspension of the SPs of Shillong City and East Gente Hills, which ended today. The suspension was demanded in connection with the encounter of surrendered HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew on the 13th of August. On your screens are visuals from the protest site in Mawlai, viewers. Protesters gathered in large numbers in the area, and effigies of Chief Minister Conrad Sangma, Deputy Chief Minister Preston Tinsong, Home Minister Lakshman Rimbui, amongst others, were all set on fire by the protesters. Well, it may be mentioned that people from the Mawlai locality have been demanding action against the cops involved in the encounter of former HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew. So indeed, viewers, the big development that we are tracking this evening as a massive protests have broken out in Mawlai in Shillong, seeking justice for former HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew. Locals of the area came out in large numbers under the banner of Nong Mawlai, or the Voice of Mawlai People, to register their protest. The protest was held after the one-week deadline given by the Voice of Mawlai People to the state government for suspension of the SPs of Shillong and East Gente Hills, which ended today. The suspension was, of course, demanded in connection with this encounter of surrendered HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew back on the 13th of August. And of course, what you see on your screens are the visuals from the protest site at Mawlai. As you can clearly see, protesters gathered in large numbers. And not only this, effigies of Chief Minister Conrad Sangma, Deputy Chief Minister Preston Tinsong, Home Minister Lakshman Rimbui, amongst others, were set on fire by the protesters. And also, let me tell our viewers here, people from the Mawlai locality of Shillong have been demanding action against the cops involved in the encounter of the former HNLC General Secretary Cheristerfield Thankiew. Yes, indeed, viewers, as you can see, massive protests which erupted in Mawlai in Shillong earlier today, this evening. And as you can see, the effigies of the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister, the Home Minister, all were burnt by the agitating protesters at Mawlai, demanding strict action against the cops who were involved in the quote-unquote encounter of the former HNLC leader Thankiew. And as you can see, viewers, the protests which started late afternoon today have now continued well into the evening, where the protesters are not letting up, isn't it? With the effigies of both the Chief Minister, the Deputy Chief Minister, as well as the Home Minister, all are being burnt by these agitating protesters. And of course, this comes after the suspension that was called for the SPs of Shillong City and East Gente Hills ended earlier today. All right, and to give us more details and to give us his perspective on this big development, I'm being joined now over the phone by our Editor-in-Chief, Wasbir Hussain. Wasbir, indeed a very concerning development coming in from Mawlai in Shillong, isn't it? Massive protests have broken out at this point in time. What is your take on this big development, Wasbir?
Well, Ronak, very true. This is a highly emotive issue. It has turned out to be a very emotive issue as far as Shillong is concerned. As we can see on the screen, protesters burning effigies of several political leaders as well as police officers in Shillong. There's a huge crowd that was witnessed a short while ago in Shillong. It is dark now, as you can see in the pictures. And now, this is a highly emotive issue, as I said, because Cheristerfield Thankiew, the former leader of the HNLC, he had laid down arms. He is a surrendered person, and the raid took place at his residence in before the crack of dawn. And the fact that there is some controversy surrounding his death is indicated by the fact that the state government has itself very readily come forward for a judicial inquiry into the issue. The fact that the state government lost no time in ordering a judicial inquiry itself indicates that the state government also wants to come clear as far as the controversy surrounding the manner in which the death of Cheristerfield Thankiew has taken place. The police initially, when the news broke about the death of Cheristerfield Thankiew on the 13th of August, the police then said that the police had gone to raid his residence to pick him up, following some suspicion that he could be involved in that Shillong blast, and that he tried to attack the visiting policeman with a sharp weapon, a charge that the family members had immediately denied, and that is the source of the controversy. And now, of course, a judicial inquiry is in process. There have been attempts by the Congress Sangma government to talk to the elected representatives as well as the community leaders from Mawlai and other parts of Shillong to diffuse the crisis. There have been sincere attempts by the state government to diffuse the crisis. There have been several rounds of discussions with the village headman of Mawlai and other civil society leaders. But as we can see, emotion runs high, as we can see in the pictures, and we have also been getting fresh visuals from the spot, that is Mawlai area, where currently the protest was on and is going on. And so this is something which the state government has to deal with. This is not really at this point in time a law and order issue. Of course, some people decided to take the law in their own hands. There was police vehicles burned, police weapons snatched. And luckily, the 3 weapons have been recovered from the Wamukra River a couple of days ago. So this is what is development. And this kind of a situation is very tricky, Raunak, because elements always goes beyond the control of the community leaders or even the civil society and take law into their own hands. But that should not happen. If this is a genuine protest, it should be peaceful. That is what we are, of course, witnessing. There are no reports of violence today, although as we can see this protest going on the screen. But the fact remains that state government has to work a little more hard in trying to diffuse the crisis. Perhaps the state government is going to do that and keep the channels of communication with the headman and the civil society leaders open in the days ahead.
Absolutely. And Wasbi, as you very rightly mentioned, this is actually a very massive protest with a large number of people coming out and, of course, a very emotionally charged as well. So, surely this is something that the Meghalaya state government cannot keep lying down. They have to react to this as soon as possible, isn't it?
Well, yes, what we are understanding is that the Congress government has not given up the option of continuing with the negotiations with the community leaders and the civil society leaders and the elected representatives of the area to diffuse the crisis. At the end of the day, this is something that can be resolved only through talks. And one would now expect the inquiry to be fast-tracked. That is something which the people are already saying, because usually inquiry commissions, or for that matter, judicial probes, take a long time to come to light. We yet don't know what is the progress of the judicial inquiry, whether the work has started. This is, of course, going to take time. They will be calling for witnesses. There will be hearings and so on and so forth. And only then a report is going to be placed before the government to find out as to who was responsible or to fix responsibility for the incident. But the fact remains that this is a situation, as we can see on the screen, emotions are running high. As we can see on the screen, emotions are running high. And one would expect some kind of a mechanism to be evolved so that the judicial inquiry is fast-tracked and one can come at some kind of a conclusion to this entire episode. And of course, what we are hearing now is that, as I have said, the state government led by Chief Minister Conrad Sangma is keeping its options open for further negotiations with the community leaders and the village headmen and others, members of the civil society, on this very, very sensitive and emotive issue that we are witnessing, as the visuals themselves suggest. Visuals on the screen itself suggest.
Absolutely. The visuals do indeed speak for themselves. Wasbir Hussain, thank you very much for joining us this evening and giving us your take on this big development from Shillong. All right, and we have gotten reactions coming in now from Samran Shiem of the Voice of People of Mawlai. Let's listen in.
Public meeting from the Danbok Karlingdo. He has said that there will be a mass campaign of signature from all the people of Mawlai on Friday, this coming Friday, the 26th of August 2021. And then after that, during the evening, we will have a peace rally and a candle rally where we will, honor and pay some respects for the family of Cheristerfield Thankiew, and also to condemn this abusing of powers and misusing of powers of the government of Meghalaya under the Department of Home Police. Continue this agitation and protest in peace, non-violent agitation, non-violent and non-cooperation with the government, so that the government will understand what is the solution next. And we are very firm. We will not refrain from our agitation or resolution that we have taken during the meeting, during the delegation with the government. And we hope that the government will listen and understand the sentiments and the opinions of the people of Mawlai, that they will give us a quick solution if they want the best solution for the state as a whole.
And well, reactions are also coming in from Donbok Lang Karlingdo of the Voice of People of Mawlai.
We went and have a meeting with the officer in charge. So he also said that the inquiry now had already done by the investigation officer, Madam Kong Wang. So we hopefully that everything will come to make the people of Mawlai satisfactory about all this inquiry done by the police department. But we stress because see, 304, it is one of the sections that we have seen that day. So as per the direction, as per the order given by the officer in charge, he said that when the case is found that this person found guilty, so we will book another section, that is 302. Hopefully that the government from the police department, they will give a good justice for all of us.